he got some exclusive photos where the feds are putting up migrants, illegal aliens, in hotels in Phoenix, and then they're driving them in buses to the airport and putting them on airplanes, all
Yep.
taxpayer funded.
Yep.
I mean, so you have to end that, end catch and release, finish the wall, pay Border Patrol agents more, hire more Border Patrol agents, invest in technology. I mean, it seems like solutions are obvious, but Joe Biden and the rest of the Democrat Party just doesn't want to act on them.
I wanted to kind of discuss a little bit about the Bipartisan Border Solutions Act. Kind of like you just mentioned, there's a few people in Congress that seem to be actually committed to getting things done. That seems to be far and few in between now. But thankfully, there was a joint legislation introduced by Republican Senator John Cornyn and Democratic Arizona Senator Kristen Sinema. And their goal of this bill is to essentially end the backlog of migrant processing by setting up regional processing centers. They also want to be able to provide more resources and tackle the number of unaccompanied minors that are coming across the border, and also determining who they can keep and process and who they're going to turn away. This has gotten both bipartisan co-sponsors in the House as well, and hopefully that it will pass, given the fact that the Biden administration has done very little in hindsight to actually stop this crisis. We're seeing a significant uptick in the amount of children that are coming across the border, adults as well, and it's creating a really awful situation in our communities. So what I wanted to ask you guys was, what are your thoughts on this bill? And maybe what do you guys think about this potential solutions to ending this border crisis? Because now it seems that Congress has had to step in when it really shouldn't have been that case in the first place. It should have been dealt with by the executive branch through those resources. This should have never happened in the first place. But what are you guys' thoughts on kind of this legislative branch stepping in now?
Well, I always get a little nervous when we talk, and we talk about this on the show regularly, about gridlock in D.C. versus Congress actually doing something. And, there are a lot of times when I prefer the gridlock.
Totally.
There are a lot of the initiatives that Congress comes up with make me very nervous. I will say I think one of the co-sponsors on this bill, Cameron, you can correct me if I'm wrong, but I think Kirsten Sinema of Arizona is one of the co-sponsors here.
Yeah, she's a main co-sponsor. Okay,
yeah. So she's our senator here in Arizona, one of our senators here in Arizona, the smart one. And she has, I have to say, I did not vote for her. Probably won't ever vote for her, but I have to say she has pleasantly surprised me with her willingness at least to discuss things with the other side of the aisle. She and Joe Manchin, of course, are two of the people who are most adamant in the Senate about preserving the filibuster, which I think is smart and long-sighted, as opposed to some of the short-sighted efforts of much of the rest of the Democratic Party. And I would say that if the situations were reversed, just to be clear, if it were the Republicans trying to end the filibuster and I don't know, pick a Republican that you don't like. Who is our former senator that Trump hated? Why can't I think of his name? Jeff Flake.
McCain.
Oh, boy.
Well, yeah, also McCain. But yeah, no, Jeff Flake was who I was thinking of. If Flake were the one standing firm and saying, we're not going to end the filibuster, I'd actually be standing with Flake, which I'd be uncomfortable in that situation, but I really, truly would be. That just shouldn't happen. And so to see her make some principled stands that I think are smart stands and, as I said, long-sighted, they're not short-sighted stands, that's been very refreshing to me. As to whether the legislative branch can really address this without executive leadership, the fact is they can pass all the laws they want. Joe Biden isn't enforcing the laws we already have. So I don't know how effective this is going to be. If I agreed with everything in the bill, and I haven't read it, so I'm not going to try to comment in too much depth there. But even if I agreed with every word of it, which is highly unlikely, I would have very little confidence that Biden would
Execute it
enforce it.
properly.
Yeah, exactly. Even if we could get a majority in the House and Senate to vote for it.
Yeah, I agree. I don't have a lot of faith in Congress, and I don't have a lot of faith in a bipartisan group of legislators passing a bill that's actually going to do something about the border crisis, because I have not seen any Democrats really willing to step up and take a hard stance on the border crisis. You might be able to take a really moderate stance, oh, we need some more funds for security, drones, and sensors and stuff like that.
Right.
But I don't think you're going to see any Democrats. I don't even think you're going to see Kristen Sinema advocating that we finish the wall. I don't
Yeah,
think we'll
I
see
doubt
that in it. And the fact is, Joe Biden, as the executive, he was left with a set of tools and processes in place when he stepped into the office to keep taking
Yeah.
care of the border, and he stopped them. So, do I think if Congress passes, who knows if Biden would even sign it into law?
Yeah.
He has showed failed leadership on the border crisis since stepping into office. He has made it worse every step of the way. So, I think one of the solutions, one of the easiest, would be finish the wall construction. I don't know if you guys have seen some of these pictures and videos from the border where there are literally like mile-long gaps in
Sure.
border wall where you can just walk across now. And these migrants are walking across, not just onto public land, they're walking across onto people's ranches, walking by people's houses, into communities.
Yeah.
We have catch and release again. There was just a story today from Representative Andy Biggs from Arizona. He got some exclusive photos where the feds are putting up migrants, illegal aliens, in hotels in Phoenix, and then they're driving them in buses to the airport and putting them on airplanes, all
Yep.
taxpayer funded.
Yep.
I mean, so you have to end that, end catch and release, finish the wall, pay Border Patrol agents more, hire more Border Patrol agents, invest in technology. I mean, it seems like solutions are obvious, but Joe Biden and the rest of the Democrat Party just doesn't want to act on them.